All right, so for subtracting rationals, it's incredibly similar to adding, just like everything else. We are just taking extra care to do Miss Holly's favorite thing and distribute a negative. So for this first example, keep in mind you always want to check if they already have the common denominator. Roll with it. Let it happen. So we're going to have x squared plus 6x plus 8 as our denominator. And then in the numerator, we're going to have 5x. And because it's minus, I would suggest flipping everything right away. Change this guy to a plus sign, make this a minus sign, make this a plus sign. So that when you rewrite it here, it says negative x plus 3. This is always the piece that gets forgotten about. Okay. All right. And then you're just combining like terms, just like you did before. So the only things that we can combine are the 5x plus the 1x. I'm sorry, minus the 1x. See? You got to be careful. So that's 4x plus 3 over our denominator. Okay. And that is all. All right, so let's go through one other example here. Again, hop on over to this guy. These do not have a common denominator, so we are going to have to set this up to have the denominator. So I am going to take this guy right here and multiply it by this guy. It's similar to cross multiplying, but it is not cross multiplying because there is no equal sign between. And I feel like I just have to do my due diligence and say that to you. So we have the n plus 3 and the 3n minus 9. And then be extra, extra careful that you're not forgetting about the minus sign. And then we're going to take the 2n and put it next to this guy. And remember, what is actually happening here is you're multiplying the top and bottom of each fraction by the same thing. I'm just showing you a little shortcut. You know I love a shortcut. And then the whole denominator is 2n times that 3n minus 9. So on the top here, the top guy is going to get, the first guy is going to get FOILed, right, which is just that double distributing. So we'll have 3n squared minus 9n. And then we'll have 9n minus 27. And on this side, I want you to be really, really careful here because we still have this negative. And when you have to distribute and do a negative, I feel like that's what throws people off. Also, if you write it in this order, I know we're used to distributing the number on the front, so keep in mind this 2n is going here and here. You could write the 2n first if that makes more sense to you. So I'm going to keep that big obnoxious minus sign, and I'm going to keep what I get in parentheses so that I can go through and flip the signs after, especially if there's a foiling in the second part. You just want to be really careful you distribute to everything. So 2n times 4n is going to give me 8n squared. And then 2n times 3 is going to give me plus 6n. And all of this is still over 2n times 3n minus 9. And then we have to go through and make sure we distribute this negative. So this first thing becomes negative and the second thing becomes negative. Then we can combine our like terms together after we distribute that negative. So I know that I've got 3n squared and a negative 8n squared. So I'm going to have a negative 5n squared. Make sure you're writing everything standard form, highest exponent to lowest exponent. I have a minus 9n and a plus 9n. So those are just going to cancel out, leaving me with this negative 6n. And then we have our minus 27 all over our denominator. All right. There you go. I know the answer key shows the answer in a little bit of a different order, and they also factored out a GCF here. That's perfectly correct, but I really would prefer that you guys keep the top in standard form. I don't know any teacher that wouldn't want you to do that. And if for it to auto grade for your Canvas quiz, it will need to be like that.